Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Spanker here again, and we are back at Blackpool. We'll do a quick VFI flight down to Liverpool. So without further ado, let's just get this thing started up. Let's take that controls lock off. Again, I'm not going to be following any proper procedures, we're not bothering with that. Fuel to on, figured that out now. Just prime the engine. There we go. Let's reset that trim to neutral. With my avionics on. Stopper's getting steamed up. And we're ready to go. Again, I'm in a bit of a tight spot here. We'll take off runway 28 today, so just click that parking brake off. I'm going to taxi down to runway 28. Weather's looks quite good today. I think winds are pretty light, so plug my headphones in. That just kills that sound a little bit, just enough to stop it being deafening and annoying. So as we go down to runway 28, you can't actually get to the very end of it. It is if you need the full length of runway, you have got to backtrack down to 8. We shouldn't need to backtrack in this aircraft. There's plenty enough room to take off from the holding point. I don't think I've forgotten anything important anyway, so yes, I haven't done any of the proper pre-flight checks or anything like that. I'm not going to run the engine up, check the magnetos, anything like that. We're just going to get off and get going. This is probably just an extension of the first look I did on this aircraft, what I think of it. I've had a couple of flights around in this aircraft. I really do like it. So this taxiway in FSX is actually a runway. Prepared, they've obviously, in fact it's probably not, it probably isn't prepared, this is Orbx scenery, so it is now a taxiway, which is what it is in real life. I think it was runway 6 and 24. I think in my last video I thought it was about 300, but it's not, it's 6 and 24 I think. And that straight head used to be, you used to be able to go to the end and go down to the end of runway 28. Now you can't do that, you've got to come down this taxiway here. And then if you're in a big jet, you would backtrack down, U-turn and take off. But because we're not, we're just going to turn right and take off out over the sea, make a left turn down towards estuary of the Mersey, fly down the Mersey and land at Liverpool. I think it's 27 Liverpool. So trim set. So I'm going to do my usual before takeoff checklist. That looks alright, that looks alright, blah de blah de blah. Yeah, everything looks fine, happy days, off we go. A better takeoff than last time. It's going to maintain runway heading to about 1,000 feet. There's the tower, and we're going to make a left turn. Pull that power back a little bit and then start trimming it down. Yeah, I didn't bother with the lights, I didn't mean to turn them off. There's nobody else about. There's Blackpool. And there to the left, just off the pitot, just below the pitot probe there is Wharton, which is a BAE Systems airfield. We have got a bit of cloud here. That beeping is just that the autopilot set to 2,200 feet, so it's just beeping me to say I'm within, I think, 500 feet of it. Now this is interesting because I'm not set any navigation equipment. I was going to do it VFR, I'm in cloud and I can't see. That wasn't very clever. There we go. We'll just drop a couple of 100 feet. There we go. Let's try and keep under that cloud around 1,500. Might have to drop a little bit lower to keep under that cloud. Again, story of my life, I haven't done my homework and we're going to end up probably ditching it somewhere. Now here on this beach here, we have got an airstrip here. I can't remember what it is. It's something on sands or something like that, obviously, but there's a small airstrip there. I don't know what they fly off there. It's heading down towards Southport, so it might be Southport that. But just going to follow this coast round until we pick up the estuary of the Mersey, and we should quite easily be able to locate Liverpool. Just have to drop to about 1300 feet, keep out of this cloud. It's a little bit choppy. Put power back. Golf course there, quite a few bunkers. And then just off to the left here is RAF Woodvale. Used to have a rally there, the Woodvale Rally, quite famous. It's generally model aircraft, but they had classic cars and things like that. But for the past, certainly the past few years that I can remember, it's not been there. It's been there for probably 20 odd years, maybe longer. But the past few years, they haven't been able to have it there. They found asbestos on the site. Some old, I think they were World War II buildings have been demolished, and asbestos were buried at the side of the taxiways and runways. So unfortunately, I've been to Woodvale a few times, model aircraft, classic cars, all that. It's been cancelled, so it's unfortunate. We've got a wind farm, offshore wind farm there. Now I really do need to get a bit higher than this. Not sure what offshore wind farm is called. There's quite a few of them around the British Isles now. I suppose it's not too bad being pretty low. You get to see the detail of scenery. Make a left now around this coast. Alright, the autopilot's beeping within 1,000 feet of that. As soon as I got to 1200 then it started. So just on this radio stack here, I've got on nav 1, which is this top line, the right hand side two figures. I've got 108.15 selected. That is the ILS at Blackpool, and then at the bottom here there's the very bottom line, 15.2. that's the DME from that nav, I think. 50.3 miles from that beacon. So approaching another little wind farm here as we approach Liverpool. some docks. This aircraft very smooth once you've got it trimmed sufficiently right for your power setting. It is literally hands off. It's only affected really by any fluctuations in the wind. It only requires minor corrections, so it is a very smooth aircraft. So this, I should think, is Liverpool. I haven't flown VFR in the Orbx over Liverpool before, with the Orbx scenery, Orbx England scenery. I've flown into Liverpool a few times on PMDG, but that's obviously dropping from 30,000 feet over Pennines and coming straight in landing, so you don't really get to see it this close when you do that. There is a little effect on the frame rate though. I'm just going to bump that on. It's usually locked at about 30 FPS. I'm down to 25. I do have it locked out at 30, but it's actually noticeable. It's not quite as smooth. Some interesting buildings around here. Cricket pitch. But if the football grounds are modelled, I think they should be. If we've got Blackpool, we must have Liverpool and Everton somewhere. And they are pretty close together, I think. Only thing is, I'm not 100% whereabouts they're located. Not to worry, I'll find out another day for that. I might fly over them if they're there. For any football fans out there. Right, so I'm going to make a right turn now. I can see the end of the runway there. I'm not too concerned about, yes, this isn't a proper approach because I'm going to be crossing the centre line of runway 27. It's like some chemical factories over here. I'm going to fly in a left-hand pattern entry, so we're going to enter on crosswind here. Make a left downwind, 2 more turns to land on runway 27, I think it is, at Liverpool. Can get rid of that. So obviously you wouldn't try this at home. Well, I suppose you could if you had clearance to do it. I don't see a problem with it. There's Liverpool's runway. Just wondering whether to have a bit of a longer base leg and fly over this industrial part here. Yeah, I think we'll do that. 19 minutes we've been running. I'm not sure what this place is either. Something else I'll have to look at. Some sort of chemical, petroleum refinery or something like that. Potentially just in Wales, somewhere like that. See what we can see here. Right, we'll get ready to set up for the approach and landing. And this is virtually hands off, only making tiny adjustments. Climbed a little bit as we came over, as we crossed the centre line there, but then it's just very small movements just to keep it flying, pointing direction we want. Starting to throttle back now. We'll make a left turn onto base. And we're descending at the same time. I've lost the DME from Blackpool, which is expected. We'll drop a stage of flaps to slow us down a little bit. It does balloon up a bit with that first stage of flaps, and then pull that power right back to virtually idle. So we're still pretty high. It has got a good climb rate, this aircraft, and it's quite stable when you're descending it quickly as well. 90 knots. So we're looking at about 85 knots with a 500 feet per minute descent rate. Right, it's going to start to trim it back a little bit to ease my right hand from keeping the nose pulled up. I'm going to go to full flap early here, sorry, next stage of flaps early, but earlier than I normally would. Just want to get that approach speed down, and we're going to go to full flat now. Slow us right down to look at around 65 knots for this approach. Just nudging a bit of trim here and there, just to try and get that descent correct on the glide slope and around 65 knots. Still a little bit off the centre line, so I'm just coming across there. We have got a slight crosswind coming from the right. I think it's about 300 the wind, maybe 310. So I'm just having to point the nose slightly into that wind. That's why you see we're not. It doesn't look like we're perfectly lined up, but only a little bit of rudder just to turn that in. Still high, but that's okay, because I'm virtually on the glide slope. It's them lights will ping back up on the PAPI very quickly in this aircraft. So there we are. Didn't take much to drop down a little bit. Again, still having to keep it pointed a bit to the right, a bit of right rudder into that wind. Now it seems to have died down a little bit, so I've no rudder inputs at the moment. A bit more. Just a little bit of right rudder. Always aiming for the numbers. Over the numbers, throttle back and flirt, and then just keep them wheels off, keep that nose up. There we go. That were a better landing than the last one. Quite smooth landing that one, really. Flaps up. I'm just going to taxi off to park up. I think the GA bit is down. Main terminal's up there, just to the right of us. But there's a GA parking just here, I think. So I'll take this next taxiway. Taxiway F. Oh, sorry, taxiway Foxtrot. It's a bit better, isn't it? More professional. Check for traffic. I haven't got traffic turned off. I've got it on air traffic and airport traffic on very low, and I tend to do that for recording videos. Saying that, there's some nutcase in a car here in front of us, some sort of truck. Where's he going? Oh, he's coming this way. Right down the middle of the taxiway. Oh, and then he stopped. Get off the road. So we're on taxiway Alpha, turning into Kilo now. And this is the GA parking. Where am I going to park? Ah, there's fuel over there. Not bad, not bad. Stick that parking brake on. That's it, I'm going to leave the engine running because I might just decide to fly back now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.